Getting started, you want to grab yourself 1 yard of heavier weight fabric. We're going to be using this blue vinyl, but you can also use canvas or twill if you have it, and you're also going to need 1 yard of lining. One 1-inch buckle set and a half a yard of 1-inch webbing. One 1.5-inch buckle set and about 2 yards of 1.5-inch webbing. 2 zippers, and I recommend getting 18 inches or bigger because you will be cutting the ends off. And lastly, you need your pattern, and this pattern is available at properfitclothing.com. Super easy to use, just download it, print it, and you're ready to go. And the links for all the supplies will be in the description, so definitely go check that out. Getting started, go ahead and trace and cut out your pattern. And make sure you cut out lining for the main side panel, the zipper panels, and the main panel. Grab the pocket panel and your smaller zipper and place the right sides together. Make sure that the pocket is centered in the center of that zipper. Go ahead and pin that on and sew along that outside edge. Then flip the inside seam allowance down and top stitch along that panel. Grab your pocket zipper panel, fold it in half, and place it on the opposite side as you did the pocket panel. Line it up with the bottom panel and pin that on. Next, grab your main panel and some chalk or anything to mark with. Place that pocket panel on the main panel, lining it up on the bottom, and make chalk marks on both top sides. And then measure down about 1/4 inch from those marks, and that's where you're going to be placing the pocket at. Next, flip the pocket upside down so that way the zipper is lining up with those second marks you made. Line it up and pin it on. And you're going to be sewing on that zipper, so make sure that it's even going across.
Samsung. Beautiful.
Fold that zipper panel down and top stitch across the top edge of that zipper panel. Grab your zipper panels, both the outside and the lining, and you're only going to need 2 of them to start. So take your lining, place it on the back of the zipper and the right side of the outer layer on the front side of the zipper. Pin it on and sew across that edge. And make sure you have the zipper panel in the center of that zipper. Then go ahead and fold those panels towards the outside and top stitch along that edge. Then grab your other 2 zipper panels, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side, and make sure that you have the zipper panels lined up exactly. Fold those panels out and top stitch along that edge. Grab both of your made side panels and then grab your zipper panel, place the right sides together, sandwiching that zipper panel in between the lining and the outside layer. And you're going to want to sew that shorter edge over the zipper. Once you have that sewn on, you can go ahead and snip the zipper end off. Flip the side panels down and go ahead and add a top stitch along that seam. Now we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side. Just go ahead and invert those side panels and pin it on. Before you start sewing, make sure that zipper train is moved towards the inside of that panel. And again, go ahead and trim those zipper ends. Flip the right sides out and top stitch along that edge. Grab the main lining, and what we're going to do is line it up on the back and sew along the outside edge. So that way we're attaching that lining to the main panel, so it's easier to sew on when we attach the side panel. And before you start sewing, make sure that zipper train is moved towards the center of that pocket. And go ahead and sew as close as you can to the outside edge. Next, take your side panel and your front main panel, mark the centers of both on top and bottom, and what you're going to do is line it up and pin it all the way around the outside of that main panel. And then go ahead and sew along that entire outside edge. This part can be a little bit tricky, so definitely just take your time. And once you have it attached, you can go ahead and snip those zipper ends and flip it right side out to make sure that you have it all sewn together and it's looking good. Next, we're going to take the main loop panel and hem the long edges at 1/4 inch. And I recommend pinning it down so that way they're accurate on both sides. Grab your back panel and mark the centers on both top and bottom, and what you're going to do is take that loop and line it up with the top of that panel and let it hang over the edge about 1/4 inch. Pin that into position and go ahead and sew it on right along that outside edge. And what we're going to do is fold the bottom under about 1 inch, but before we're going to do that, we're going to snip the corners so that way you don't see the edges when you fold it over. Go ahead and pin that on, and what we're going to do is sew a box formation along that bottom edge. This is going to give it extra strength for sliding around that belt. Grab your harness loop panels, place the right sides together, and we're going to sew all the way around the outside but leave the top edge open. And before you flip it right side out, go ahead and snip the bottom corners on an angle so that way it doesn't bunch up when you flip it right side out. And once you have it flipped right side out, go ahead and top stitch around the outside edge, but leave the top open.
That's an interesting twist.
Now we're going to go ahead and use the panel and fold that bottom edge over and stitch it down. This is going to create the loop for the webbing to go through.
I just found the keys to a city. The beats are big and the lights are pretty. So why can't we get to the busy where the dreams are in the sky? You got me high, you got me high.
Grab your back panel and line it up directly across from the other loop you already put on the back panel.
I think I might die. I'm face to face with a mirror. I've never felt so one with another. So why can't it all be clearer? Don't you see?
And just like on the front panel, we're going to attach that lining to the back panel. But we're actually not going to attach ours for the video. But if you want to add the lining to the back panel, do the same thing as you did for the front panel. But we're actually going to leave the lining out on ours. I actually like the look of the inside of this fabric a little bit better than the lining, so I'm just going to keep it out.
Wish we could go far.
Now we're going to go ahead and attach that back panel the same way we did the front panel. Mark the centers and pin all the way around the outside edge. And make sure you leave a little bit of the zipper open so that way it's easier to flip right side out.
The keys to a city. The beats are big and the lights are pretty.
And then go ahead and sew all the way around that outside edge.
Where the dreams are in the sky. You got me high, you got me high on wonders and why. You got me high, you got me high. I think I might die. I'm face to face with a mirror. I've never felt so one with another. So why can't it all be clearer? Don't you see the sign? It's all
And then the next step is to add bias tape all the way around both of these edges to really secure it down and make it super quality and hide those raw edges. But you can totally skip this part if you don't want to add the bias tape. So we're going to be using a double fold bias tape binder to clean up those edges, and you can definitely get these for domestic sewing machines too. We're going to have links in the description. So go ahead and cut out long pieces of bias tape that are the right measurements to the width of your binder. The other option is to use a bias tape making kit, and this is where you pretty much just make your own bias tape. And it comes with a presser foot that helps you attach the bias tape to your garment. And it's pretty simple to use. All you have to do is cut a strip, feed it through, and iron it. And after that, it works the same as the bias tape. You just fold it over and sew it on, or you use that attachment. And it's really that simple. All you have to do is keep going around that outer edge and do this for both edges. We're only going to do it for one edge to save time for the video though. And then go ahead and flip the right side out.
Listen to this right here. I heard then it was like the Lord spoke that.
Now we're going to make a belt for the top loop. We're going to use the 1.5 inch webbing, and we're going to cut about 40 inches. So grab your bigger buckle, feed it through the bottom, and fold it over twice and hem that down.
There it is again.
Next, grab your side adjuster, feed it through the other end, and then what you're going to do is feed it back through the buckle, around, and then back through the middle part of that slide adjuster.
Reaching out to hurting people.
And then once you have it back through that middle section, go ahead and fold it over and sew it to itself.
Something more than it was. I like that, don't you?
Grab your bag and then go ahead and feed that belt through the top loop of the main panel. Grab your 1 inch webbing and we're going to do the exact same thing. And if you don't want to use webbing for the bottom, you can also use elastic. This is going to stretch around your leg a little bit better, but for the video, we're just going to use webbing because it's going to match the top portion. So go ahead and take your buckle, feed it through, sew it down, put your slider on, and sew it together the exact same way as we did the top one.
Oh, yes.
And once you have it done, go ahead and feed it through that bottom loop.
Reaching out to hurting people.
Now we're going to go ahead and add zipper pulls, and you can either use parachute cord or regular zipper pulls that you buy online. And we're going to go ahead and use the ones that you buy online. They're super easy to use. All you have to do is feed them through your zipper and pull them back through and tighten them. If you want to see how to use parachute cord, you can either go on Pinterest, there's a bunch of different ways on there, or you can watch one of our other videos. We show how to do it, but it's pretty much you just tie it through and make a knot, and it's really that simple. And there you have it, your harness bag is complete. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. We're going to keep the videos coming at you, so we'll see you next time.
Trouble.